Hey, what's going on out there? I would like to welcome every single one of you over to Water Your Soil. So if you're new here, I would like to say I have two rules over at this channel. The first rule is for you to always use your own discretion when it comes to credit cards and credit scores. The second rule, that's for you to verify everything that you learn, whether it's over here at this channel, another channel, or anywhere. That should be a rule to life. So getting into the video, this is an article by Forbes and it's credit card news. And every single person that has a credit card, the information in this article impacts you. And it could potentially impact all of us in a negative way. This is the type of information that's sometimes done right in our face if we go and seek out the information, but we look at it in hindsight like it was done behind our back. But you're going to learn in this video how this news can potentially impact us, and honestly it's something that every single one of you want to look out for. I know right now Amex Platinum is having big changes, so a lot of people are going to be talking about the Amex Platinum card and the changes that are coming, which they should. The same goes for Chase with the Chase Sapphire. However, this news right here is extremely important, and this is a warning because this news can impact all of us in a negative way. So the way how credit card news works around here is I'll read through the article, the full article, or I'll read through excerpts. And then I'll give my opinion and my feedback on how I feel about the article. I always leave a link to the article in the description box. That way you all can check it out yourself. But I'm not going to waste any further time because this is important. I'm going to get right into it, all right? So let's go. It says, legislation that could cut your credit card miles and points inches closer. It says, with the Senate vote looming closer, consumers stand to lose some of the ability to rack up airline miles and hotel points via credit card spending. Some issuers may have to change their rewards model. And this was posted on Forbes.com, and it was posted on June 13th, 2025. It says, are your credit card miles and points at risk? They could be if the ongoing battle for credit card legislation initiated by the Durbin-Marshall Amendment, Senators Roger Marshall and Dick Durbin, passes in Congress. Bipartisan negotiations continue, but a final vote is inching closer. The amendment, part of the Dodd-Frank Wall Street Reform and Consumer Protection Act, will reduce the cost charged to merchants that accept credit cards. It says that businesses pay more than $100 million in swipe fees annually. But opponents to the change say reduced interchange revenues could wipe out miles, points, and perks that consumers enjoy from their credit cards. This week, airlines, travel unions, and aircraft manufacturers have stepped up their campaign against the proposed changes, according to a Business Insider article. They say that weakening loyalty programs and their associated perks could have a detrimental effect on the aviation and travel industry as a whole. It could affect travel demand, which will hurt employment in the industry and eventually aircraft orders. The trade group Airlines for America is spearheading the efforts and has partnered with various travel companies and unions in a recent letter to senators, which includes support from the Allied Pilots Association, Airbus, American Airlines, Boeing, Southwest Airlines, and United Airlines, among others. According to the group, credit cards had a nearly $25 billion effect on the economy in 2023, representing over 31 million American consumers. Limiting credit card benefits could put a dent in the loyalty miles and points gain for consumers and a proverbial crater in the bottom line for airlines and hotels that rely on credit card revenue to offset slim margins elsewhere. In December alone, Delta brought in nearly $2 billion in credit card remuneration, which represents a 14% year-over-year increase from the same period last year. Airlines for America point to research that says more than half of the loyalty miles and points redeemed in 2023 came from credit cards rather than via flights or hotel stays. The Electronic Payments Coalition, which represents credit card companies, adds that this legislation will only benefit megastores and does not have the same effect for consumers. The group maintains that interchange fees have not increased in recent years and that credit card fees are hardly the highest expense that most businesses have to pay. In fact, it believes that small businesses stand to suffer the most if this legislation were to pass. According to a public document from EPC, it says, quote unquote, credit card routing mandates would not lower the cost of goods for consumers and in some cases may raise costs for consumers. It counters that the argument that low-income individuals are footing the bill for these rewards programs is not accurate. Studies show that quote-unquote low-income individuals use reward credit cards at a rate similar to high-income individuals. And quote-unquote there is substantial evidence that caps placed on credit card transactions reduces rewards offered to consumers while increasing the cost of a holding card, ensuring consumers across income levels are left worse off. Current bipartisan negotiations are taking place on the Senate floor with a vote potentially taking place next week. So there you have it. Credit card rewards and points are at risk. And that's important to all of us because I don't know if you all have been paying attention, but they're constantly raising annual fees. The annual fees are going up. The interest on these cards are going up. And when you have this legislation that's on the line and they said they are going to potentially vote on it next week, it's important because it impacts every single one of us, especially those of you who love credit cards and love to use credit cards. As I always state on this channel, I'm a big fan of credit cards. I'm not a fan of credit card debt, and I'm not a fan of paying interest, especially high interest on these credit cards for just going out and making purchases that I know I should be able to pay it back in full the next month with a statement balance. But this right here is a game changer because if this legislation does pass, it's going to be a problem, a major problem for all of us, which is why I said this is a major warning. Because if it does pass, you can expect these credit card companies to counter. They're always going to counter. As I stated, if you drop the interest rates on these cards, they're going to counter in some type of way. They're always going to make their money back. And there's a lot of talk right now about the Amex Platinum card, and they're saying that Amex is going to offer the best rewards of all time for this card. And I'm like, yeah, but what is the annual fee going to be? That's a prime example of how these banks, if they give you a little, they're going to take a lot. And the same thing goes for the way how they manage money in order to maintain profit. If they get hit in their pockets, whether it's with swipe fees, whether it's with interest rates, late fees, whatever it may be, they're going to increase the price on something. We don't know what. Maybe it is reducing our rewards and reducing our miles, something that can impact a lot of people because the reason why a lot of people have credit cards is for points and miles and for cash back. So once that starts getting impacted, it's going to be a major problem and you'll see a lot of people start canceling out these credit cards because they'll probably say, hey, I don't really want to do it no more. What's the point? So this is something that you all want to pay attention to for the next week. You want to stay tuned and make sure you are paying attention to the legislation. It's called the Durbin-Marshall Amendment. So make sure you are doing a Google search for the Durbin-Marshall Amendment to make sure you know when they're voting on it. They say potentially next week, and to see whether or not it actually passed, because if it did, it's going to be a major problem. And I'm just bringing the news here to let you all know what's potentially happened, because I guarantee you it's a high possibility a lot of you didn't even know that this was going on right now. And this is why I like doing these credit card news videos. I could easily talk about credit cards. I did that for like the first 2 to 3 years when I was on YouTube. I talked about credit cards. I talked about the cool benefits about credit cards. Now I like to talk about credit card debt, how to stay out of debt. I like to tell the news and share the news because a lot of people are not getting the news. On your everyday news, this type of information is not shown until around the late teens, early 20 marks. And this information, in my opinion, needs to be early in the first 10 minutes of the news because it relates and impacts so many of us on a major level. So this is a major warning right here. Be looking out for the legislation. It's called the Durbin-Marshall Amendment. Be looking out. Do your Google search on it whenever you get the chance, because this is something that could potentially impact all of us. But I just wanted to bring this news to you all. Let me know how you feel about it below in the comment section. Let me know whether or not you care, you don't care, what's your feelings on this. But before you go, I want you to participate in my poll, in my latest poll. The way you do so is you click on my profile picture. It's going to take you to the homepage of this channel. Once you reach the homepage of this channel, go to the post section. On the post section, you'll see my latest poll as well as my previous polls. Be sure to participate in those as well. But anyways, if you're new around here and you feeling the vibe, this is Water Your Soil. Be sure to hit the subscribe button, turn on all notifications, that way you don't miss a future video, because I post often. That's clicking on the bell that you see and selecting all. Also, this goes to every single one of you, especially my subscribers. Be sure to hit the like button. That's your way of letting the algorithm know you support this channel and this video. I appreciate every single one of you for stopping by, sharing my videos, commenting, hitting the like button. Whatever you choose to do, as long as it's in a positive way, salute to all of you. This is Water Your Soil, and I'm out. Hey, what's going on? This is Nell from Water Your Soil. So as someone who went from a 549 credit score all the way up to the 800s, I decided to share the same information that helped me go from poor credit to excellent credit. This book is titled Strategies to Master Credit. I put everything in this book, everything that helped me go from poor credit to excellent credit. All of the information is in this book. So I want you all to purchase this book. A lot of you have already purchased it, but it's available currently right now on Amazon.com and also MasterCreditBook.com. It's titled Strategies to Master Credit. You want this book. It has all the information needed in order for you to go from poor credit to excellent credit, or just simply maintain your good or excellent credit score. So get the book ASAP. And if you want something more in depth, you could take the course over at www.wateryoursoil.com. It's more in depth. There are actually chapters in this course, and it walks you through basically how FICO credit scores come about and how they're determined. And really, once you learn how FICO scores come about and the concept of credit scores, then you're pretty much on your way to either going from poor credit to good credit, or just maintaining a good or excellent credit score. So if you want something more in depth, I have the course over at www.wateryoursoil.com. All right.